Okay, so I'm so excited about this one, and I'm sure you guys are too. This is going to be super cute. Now, remember, my color choices aren't necessarily your color choices. So you do you, I will do mine, and I'll just give you pointers along the way. You switch it up how you want to, okay? Also, make sure you followed all those pointers that were in my intro, and let's get started. Hey, and don't forget, you can pause me or rewind me at any time. I'm sure my students at the studio wish they could do that. So you guys enjoy it while you can. Hit that pause button, rewind it as you need to. All right, guys, I am going to start with my biggest brush. It is the one that is flat on top and it has kind of corners on the edges. It's not rounded on the edges, it's pointy on the edges, okay? And remember, all my paint is on my plate because I've been creating videos today, but you guys are gonna leave your paint in your containers. I was thinking it could be fun to have like a dark background, so I'm gonna go with black. And like I said, you guys do you. You could totally do like a white if you wanted to, or not white, excuse me, a light blue if you wanted to. And if that's the case, you're going to put white on your plate and then you're going to put a little blue in at a time. Or even a light turquoise would be nice. We never want to paint with a globby brush, and we also want to hold our paintbrush right where the metal and the handle touch. If you don't trust yourself using this bigger brush, you could use a smaller brush to outline, bigger brush to fill in. All right, take a deep breath and let's get started. Okay, I am going to try to hump over those little loops where our ornaments are tied on. But again, you could just paint straight down if you wanted to. Now I am going to keep working my way around. And again, if you don't trust yourself with the big brush, definitely use a smaller one, and then you can switch to the bigger one to fill in like I'm doing now. So we can fill in all this space back here, just like this. Ta-da! Oh yeah, baby. So this is kind of the boring part, honestly, because it's just flat color. But one thing to think about as you're painting is it is a process. And you just got to go with the flow, okay? Go with the process and then see that I am going to be creating layers. Now, I do like to paint my edges, so I did bring the paint all the way to the very, very top edge and over here to the side. Okay. Now we'll start working further on down here. I am not even going to try to paint around those strings that the ornaments are on. I'm just going to paint right over them. But I know where they go because I see the string on here and I know that it goes down from that. Potentially, and I'm not positive that it'll work if you're doing black paint like I am, but potentially you could turn the flashlight on your phone or get a real flashlight and shine it from behind to see those lines. Or of course you could do like this where you just paint right next to them. Well, right next to the line, and then you'll obviously be able to see where it is because you won't be covering it up if you paint right next to it. Now, if you accidentally paint on your ornaments, don't stress about it. A, just change the shape of your ornament a little. Or B, once it comes time to painting the ornament, you can just paint right over your oopsies, okay? That's the great thing about acrylics is a lot of time acrylic paint will cover up acrylic paint. So if you have oopsies, don't stress about it. No freaking out, no having a panic attack, no throwing fits. Just dry it, paint over it. No big deal. There we go. And again, if you don't like using this big brush to do all this outlining, definitely use one of your smaller brushes and then switch back to the big brush to fill it in. Like I said, this is the kind of boring part, but that's okay because it's totally worth it. There we go. Get a little quiet when I'm trying to focus when I'm doing details. So hopefully you got that music jamming in the background. All right, there we go. Here we go. Something about using black paint is a little intimidating, isn't it? But don't be intimidated. Just remember to take deep breaths. And again, I think this would be quite beautiful with lighter colors too. Ooh, even a light purple would have been fun. Did not even think about that till just now. That's okay though. All right. So now that we got everything outlined, we can totally go back in and this time just boop, 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 just pop it on there. See, it goes much quicker now. We just pop that color in there. There we go. Ta-da. There we go. Oh yeah. And then remember, if you're doing your edges, go ahead and bring that color on over to the very, very side. And at some point, you'll have to flip this guy upside down and paint the bottom too, right? The bottom as well. Okay. Once we get this part done, then it will be so much more fun. You should be thinking about what colors you might want to do on your sloth. Is it going to be brown? Is it going to be gray? Like, think about that. Or is it going to be, you know, rainbow sloth? I don't know. So many options. And go. All right. And we're also going to have to think about those ornaments and what color we're going to make those, what color tree branch. Lots of decisions to make. Remember, just leave your paint in the tray or in the little containers and get it out if you're going to mix, but otherwise you can just dip straight out of the container when you're painting that exact color on the canvas. Okay, I do need to flip it this way so I can paint this edge over here. There we go. Whew. Now, after you get one layer of black on and it dries a little, you may notice that you need to add a second layer in spots. And then of course, don't forget to do the bottom at some point, okay? But after you get one layer on, you may decide, oh, I need to go back. It looks a little thin in spots or thicker in spots. Or maybe you see some tiny white spots showing. That's the texture of the canvas showing through. Just add a quick pop, a little black on there, and it'll be done super fast later down the line. So for now, though, oh, I do see something right here, guys. So we do need to put some black in there, but for now, just let it dry, see what it's going to do, and work on something else on your painting until it's kind of set up just a little bit, okay? So we'll work our way in here. There we go. Oh, yes. Okay. So let's think about what color is our branch going to be, okay? I think that I am going to go for a, almost like a birch tree, right? So I am going to take my brush, stick it in the water. I'm going to smush it on the bottom of my water cup. Remember, don't use your favorite water cup because it will probably stain it. Smush, 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 and then wipe wipe, wipe. And then, of course, you have to dry your brush. And in order to dry my brush, I just sweep it on my napkin, just like so. Okay? So next, we're going to, like I said, work on the tree branch. I think I'm going to switch to, it's still a big brush, it's just not the biggest, and the corners are kind of curved. I'm going to dip straight in my white paint. I'm going to try to be super careful to not touch my background. But you know what? If I get a little of my background color on there, totally not going to stress out because it's just a tree, right? It's just a tree. Definitely is not perfect, okay? And if I get a little of this white on my sloth, that's not going to matter either because I'll be able to cover that up later. Now I did just accidentally dip in my yellow paint. There we go. Okay, and right on over here, just like so, okay? Then what I'm going to do is I am going to, I think I'm going to switch back to the bigger guy, and I am going to get just a teeny bit of brown just right on the very tippy tip of the bristles. I'm going to line it up with the edge of the tree, and I'm going to do a little sweep down. Sweep down, sweep down, sweep down, sweep down, sweep down, sweep down, 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 down. Then on the opposite side, we sweep up, and we don't want to put this everywhere because we still want to see some of the white of the tree. Okay, so this is going to help kind of give it that birch look. I love birch trees. They're one of my favorites. Then I'm going to use the smaller brush, okay, that's flat on the tip, and I am going to mix a little bit of my brown and black to make just a little bit of a darker brown. You don't need much, okay? You just need a tiny bit. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to add a little bit of this on top. Quick little sweeparoos here and there. There we go. I may have to go back at the end and kind of clean up those edges, but also remember it is a tree. It's not going to be perfect, right? Trees out in nature are very organic, very imperfect, very not smooth, right? And I'm just kind of putting little sweeps of this here and there. You can even make some of them kind of go from one side to the other. There we go. There, that's some great kind of birch tree going on there. I might even take this little brush and just kind of sweep all the way across with my dark brown. There we go. And just sort of sweep across the edge. And I'm not necessarily cleaning up my edge, but I am sort of smoothing it out. Okay. There we go. So I'm not making it straight. I'm following like, you know, the curve that I kind of stuck in there on accident and just sort of follow that, but it kind of cleans up the edge just a little. If you can see that. Okay, guys, gotta work on that focusing, don't we? All right. I guess I should go ahead and do that on the edges too. Okay, so now we got our tree done and we can start thinking about our sloth. I'm going to go back to that second biggest brush that has the curved tips, you know, on the end of the bristles. Wash it, dry it, and let's think about this brown color for the sloth. I am going to take some white and a little bit of brown and mix those together. This is going to be a great like body color, I think. And then we'll make an even lighter version for the face. Now we never want to paint with a super thick globby brush, so you can scrape your extras off on the side of your plate. And again, if you don't trust yourself with such a big brush when you're trying to outline a space, then use the smaller brushes for outlining and bigger brushes to fill in. Now, if we get a little color where we don't mean to, there's a little trick you can do. You can take one of your napkins and some clean-ish water, doesn't have to be perfectly clean. Wrap it around your finger, dip it in your cup, and then we can do a little sweep across just like that. And we can get that paint off where we didn't mean to. Now, honestly, I really shouldn't be worrying about it on the face because I am going to fill that all in. So we're good to go. All right. So now I am going to work on here. Kind of go down and around. There we go. And yeah. There we go. And anytime, just like I did on the black, it's a good idea to outline first and then fill in. I must have had a little black on my brush there, but see, look, you can just keep sweeping and just blend it in, and it's no big deal, okay? Even kind of creates a little bit of a shadow down there, which is perfect for creating some dimension, right? All right. So we get that all filled in, and there's a little bit of leg over here. And I think, let's see, this is arm and those are hands and hands. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a string right there. That's what's hanging down. Okay, got it. Okay, so that's good on the sloth body. Now, while it's all still wet, I'm going to grab some straight brown. And I'm just going to put a little straight brown, kind of blend it down here. Just to create, like I was saying earlier when it happened on accident, a little bit of shadow down there. And then I'm going to create a little bit of shadow just right on there. And then that might be good on the shadow. So now for the face, we want it to be lighter. So we're going to grab a little extra white and our tan. And I'm a little nervous about getting in there with this big old guy. So why don't we use one of our smaller brushes, right? And one trick you can do is you can always get some of the extra off your brushes like that. And then we can use a softer color. I think that's probably soft enough. What do y'all think? There we go. And we can work on getting his or her cute little face filled in. You're going to have to think of a name for your little sloth. Sam the sloth. Susie the sloth. There we go. You have to drop a comment below on what you decide to name your sloth. And if it's possible, how cool would it be to drop a finished picture of your painting when you're done? I would love that. I love getting to see other people's artwork and see, you know, the twists that they put on things. Now, don't worry about all these Sharpie lines, guys. If you're accidentally painting over them, you can always redraw those on there later. So it's really not a big deal, okay? If you accidentally paint over those, we can add them back in there, all right? So we'll get this all filled in. So we kind of outline and fill in as we go. Oh my goodness. This sloth is going to be so precious. Fabulous. All right. Smooth out those brush strokes a little. If you go over them very gently, you can kind of smooth those out. If there's any see-through spots, you can always pop a second coat of paint on them here in a bit. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit of this lighter and stick a little bit of lighter up here on the top, and then maybe right in here, kind of lighten that up just a little. So it's not even that noticeable, right? Okay, I'm going to use this same baby brush and grab some more of that dark color, and we're going to put the dark color in here. And again, don't worry about the Sharpie lines. You got a permanent marker in your art kit, so after this is 100% dry, you can go back and retrace those lines. You don't want to do it though while the paint's still wet, because it will ruin your permanent marker. They don't work on wet paint. Right? Right. There we go. Fabulous. And let's do this one. Outline. Remember, have a very soft touch. The softer your touch, the thinner your brush stroke would be. Or this brush kind of makes a little bit of a thicker brush stroke. So if you need it to be smaller, switch to one of the small brushes that has a pointy tip. This one I'm using right now has a flat tip. Okay. Oh yes, so cute. So we got our sloth all painted, and now we can clean our brushes. Oh, hello, we need to do those little paws. Here we go. There. And that color matches the face color. So the same color you put on the face is what I am putting on the two little back leg paws, like the ones that are on the other side of the body. That's what we just painted in. Okay, so now clean that brush, clean this brush really good. It is loaded up, so we gotta really smush and swirl, wipe, 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 dry, and then dry, dry, dry. Okay, I'm gonna wait a minute on this scarf, and I'm gonna work on painting these ornaments. So for the ornaments, really, I mean, do whatever colors you want to. You could totally do Christmas. You could do all different colors. You could do colors that match the ornaments on your tree that you have at home, you know, or colors that are going to match the room that you're going to hang this in. There we go. So we got red. And if we get a little out of the lines, especially with the black background, you can just paint over it with black, or you just make your ornament a little bigger. Who cares, right? Now, let's see. I think I will do, maybe I'll do a purple. What do y'all think? And the purple's kind of dark, so I am going to add just a little bit of white to it, soften it up some. There we go. And if you don't like this big brush, definitely use a smaller one that you're more comfortable with. Okay, I don't want you to be uncomfortable with the big guy. All right, now did accidentally get a little bit of black on my brush, but you know what? You can paint over it, or you let it dry and then paint over it. Usually that's a little bit more successful route to go, is let it dry and then paint over. Okay. Clean our brush. Dry, dry, dry. Now we can do, there we go. Oop, got a little orange in there. We don't want orange. So to make green, you're going to do a chunk of yellow and then a little bit of blue, and we're going to mix that up, and that's how you're going to make your green color. The more blue you put in, the darker the green will be. The less blue, the more of a lime green you will have. Now, I was thinking I'm not going to do a yellow ornament because I think I'm going to do like little yellow tops on all of these. So I'm not going to do a yellow ornament. But you guys do you. Right? Right. Okay, blocked off that color. I think I'll do some blue. And I don't want to go super dark blue. So I'm going to do some white and blue mixed together. Kind of go medium blue like we did on the purple, right? There we go. And again, this brush is a little scary to use on these little bulbs. So feel free to use a much smaller brush for real. Okay, and there we go. I think I curved that end a little better maybe. There we go. And then for our last one, what do we do? What do we do, folks? How about maybe another, do we do another red? Kind of balance it out? Why not? And I switched to a smaller brush. This one's a little further away from me and I didn't want to goof it. There we go. Now, I suppose if you didn't want these ornaments, you could have totally just painted right over them, especially if you were doing a black background. OMG, totally. And then that would take some of the Christmas vibes out of it, right? If you painted over those. Okay, so we got all of those done. Now, might give my little guy a black nose, but a pink nose would be cute too. Looking kind of gray because some of my tan got mixed in there. There we go. Cute. All right. Now for the scarf. Decisions. Maybe we could do green and red. So I could do like stripes. That could be cute. Of course, solid would be cute. You could just do like blues and purples for kind of wintry scheme. Really, no wrong answer. One solid color obviously would be much easier. Go. My watch is telling me it's time to stand. Okay. So cute. All right, sorry when I focus, guys, I get a little quiet. Just turn up your Christmas music, right? So I'm just trying to draw little stripes with my brush. go. And we're working our way on up. There we go. Cute. So cute. Okay. Now while that green dries just a little, oh, even the green and white would be really cute, guys. Oh my gosh, super cute. I am going to take a little bit of purple, I know, sounds weird, into some of my, yellow. And what that does is it creates a great like mustardy color, right? Then we put a little pop of white in there to soften it up, a little bit more yellow if you need it. But this gives us a little different version of yellow that is not so bright. Again, you do you. You could do silver right here. Oh my gosh, how cute would it be to sprinkle some glitter on there as well? That would be super awesome. Go. Awesome. Okay. Now we're going to work on the red on the scarf. Go. And just slowly but surely work your way on up. Remember, pause me anytime you need to. Stand up and stretch anytime you need to so your booty doesn't get too tired. Right? Sometimes our booties fall asleep when we've been sitting too long. All right. Here we go. OMG. Now, just remember, slow and steady wins the race. There's no rush. We say in my house, do it right, do it light, do it wrong, do it long. So if you do it long, you know, you got to let it dry and then you got to paint over it and then you're frustrated. And of course, I don't want you frustrated. I want you to have the best time doing this. So just take your time. Go. Oh, we're so close. Now, as far as the little stringies go, it could be super cute to actually glue some string onto your painting. That could be a really fun idea, but potentially you could use, you know, one of your small brushes and use some white paint, and you could totally like, you know, I'm going to trace that. There we go. And then I'm not real good at pulling my brush up, so I think I will flip and pull my brush down. And honestly, I wouldn't even try to make it perfectly straight anyway, because you know, we don't want to make it look too perfect, right? There, put a little wiggle in that line. There we go. There we go. The baby brushes don't hold a whole lot of paint, so you will have to dip your brush in the paint a lot. All right. Then, remember, don't forget to paint the bottom, okay? Now, we can do a little shine on our bulbs like that. And what else do we need? Maybe a cute little shine right on the nose. Yes, OMG. Little shine on there and there and there. Maybe a little boop on the head like that. Oh, so cute. Now, it could be super fun to do like some little snowflakes in the background. You know, spice it up a little. So we do a plus and then an X. And I don't have very much paint on my brush because I don't want him to be super bold, okay? Super in your face. This way they're a little less noticeable. And of course, kind of twist them different directions. There we go. So cute. Okay, now I'm going to mix a little bit of the white and the yellow, and I'm actually going to flip my brush upside down, and I'm going to do some little dots so that they look like little twinkle stars in the sky. How I wonder. It's in your head now, huh? There we go. And of course, same thing. The end of the brush definitely doesn't hold much paint, so you're going to want to dip into your paint a lot. It's just straight down, straight up. So cute. Okay. Oh my goodness. If that doesn't spread some Christmas cheer, I don't know what would. I do see one little bitty spot that really doesn't matter, but it matters to me. Right here. So you can use a baby brush and go back and kind of touch up around your ornaments if you need to, or around the sloth or whatever it may be. All right, my folks. Again, use that Sharpie if you feel comfortable. You could use your paintbrush, but after it's dry, use your Sharpie. Retrace a few of the lines or retrace all of the lines if you want to. And we are finished. OMG, we did such a great job, guys. I'm so proud of you. This little thing is so precious. I cannot wait to see the outcome of what you guys did. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Remember to always be kind, reach out to those that you love and tell them you love them, and have a super awesome holiday season. And I'm sure I'll see you on here again soon. Remember, I have other playlists of doing different arts and crafts type projects, not just painting. So make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications. Bye, guys.